We all wore the same missionary uniform, too. White shirt, purity and submission, navy blue skirt, a believer for the Lord, and a little gold pin, golden streets of glory, stamped M in the middle and pinned to our shoulder. We'd sit around a middle table in an empty part of the church, 10 little girls number painting Jesus' face in oil and eating vanilla wafers and drinking red Kool-Aid until our lips were red as a horde of Jezebels. We had a huge responsibility on our little white shoulders. Just by sitting there, we were setting good examples and winning souls to Christ, and it was unfortunate that nobody could see us.
I think our childhoods are the circumstances that create our destiny, because I believe we all have a destiny, and mine was this activism. And if I had not went through the trials of coming to grips with my fundamentalist Pentecostal religion, I would have never been the activist nor the writer. I was raised Pentecostal, and Pentecostal is like the mystical end of the fundamentalists. They believe they had the same gifts that the prophets had in Jesus' day, and when Jesus could heal, we could heal, and if they could raise the dead, we could raise the dead. And I know one of the more peculiar and odd things that they could do is that we felt that we were given the commandment to handle snakes. It was almost a sign of your faith if you could handle snakes, and if you were bit, it was like you had lost your faith. Mama's pregnancies were hellacious. First she vomited her guts out, and then she cried about it. If that wasn't enough to cement the connection between hell and pregnancy, 6 months into her fourth pregnancy, and while hanging out a wash tub of wet clothes on a line tied to a rain cistern where rats and birds fell, plus we got our water, a blood clot froze in her eyes and she went blind in one eye. But one-eyed and 1 year later, Mama had me. Nothing slowed down her baby train. The most important thing about Pentecostal was it was a personal experience. So there was a real sense of the invisible, and I feel, quite frankly, that was real important for me later on, because when you start, especially working on the Bay, to believe in the invisible world where nature is out there and the water is out there, and it's like it's personified, it's a force to be reckoned with, and you can ally with it. And that was the best part of the Pentecostal, but unfortunately, the side that eventually caused me to drop it entirely was the fear and the condemning and the judgment. I'm a fourth generation shrimper from a small fishing village, and in 1989, after we had a huge dolphin die off, all our bays started having algae blooms and the shrimp started disappearing. I started running a fish house, and one day I had a shrimper with cancer throw me this newspaper article, and it was industry reporting on the Texas Gulf Coast and all over the nation for the first time what they were putting out in the air, out in their discharges in the bay, what they were trucking through your town in trucks, what you were putting in the landfills. And our little bitty county, no more than 15,000 in the entire county, we were number one in the nation for toxic disposal. It made me do something I'd never, ever did before. It was to just speak out. I just called a meeting. And it was such a backlash that my activism started right there. It was like a snowball rolling to hell.